Sarasota, Florida home prices are dropping, and everyone keeps asking me why. And if this means that everything is crashing or that if it's a terrible time to buy or invest. So, on today's video, I want to break down what's really happening in our market, what's driving it, and what buyers and sellers need to know right now. I'm Nicole Smith, a Sarasota Lakewood Ranch real estate expert, helping people just like you who are looking to move to the Sarasota, Florida area with confidence. And I post weekly updates on what's really happening here, from community and home tours to market trends. So if you're even thinking about moving to the Sarasota, Florida region, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications so you don't miss another video. Let's get back to it. Now, first, I want to cover the average price of homes. So this is every single home that has sold or is on the market. This overall average price of homes has definitely dropped. But the main reason is because we have also had a huge drop in luxury buyers. Now, these are buyers who are buying in the 800,000 and up price range. Those homes have significantly dropped in how many units have sold. However, the units of the homes in the 400 to 700,000 range have gone up. More of our buyers are buying in that range now. So this is obviously going to affect the overall average price of homes. But what does that have to do with the overall prices that are coming down? So there are actually three reasons why prices are falling right now. And knowing these reasons can give you a leg up if you're buying or help you plan accordingly if you're selling. Is it that no one is buying? Is it that no one can afford the homes with the current interest rates? Or is it that no one is able to get a loan? Actually, it's none of these. I am a buyer-heavy agent, meaning I work with more buyers than I do active listings. And a lot of it has to do because I work with many of you all who are watching these videos and they reach out to me, or on my Instagram, which I have a big following there. So a lot of buyers are reaching out to me to help them. So on average, I'm actively working with about 12 buyers at a time who are qualified and they're making plans for when it's time to make their move. So I know what is moving them, what is driving them, and right now, what is holding them back as well. Now, there is still enough demand and desire to live in our area due to the high quality of living that you get for the price that you pay, and the potential growth that is coming, the business-friendly laws and tax structures, and of course, the educational options for our youth. So let's take a closer look at what's driving these prices down. First, let's talk about the most obvious, and that's an increase in new construction homes. Now, I've actually had people from out of state come. They plan to visit to come and see neighborhoods and communities, get to know everything. And they have heard that there's a lot of new construction. But when they get here, they are shocked at just how much is happening out here. Now, we cover a huge swath of area. Manatee County is north. That's where Lakewood Ranch is. That's where Parrish is, which is just blowing up right now, all the way down south into the Englewood area, which is still in Sarasota County. The Venice, the Englewood, the Northport, all of that is in South Sarasota. So that's a pretty big area of land. And when they come and they see just all the growth and the new communities and the new neighborhoods, they're quite surprised. They're taken aback at just how much is going on. And the truth is, no one can beat the current builder incentives. Look, the complaint about high interest rates, it's non-existent when you're talking about new construction and these builders. They are the promotions right now for interest rates using their lenders, of course, but if you qualify through your own lender, chances are really high that you will also qualify through their lender. And honestly, they often just sell off the loan anyway after you close. So no one can beat the current builder incentives. These interest rates I've seen as low as 2.99. Sometimes they'll buy down. So the first year you'll have a really low interest rate. The second year it'll go a little bit up. And then by the third year or the fifth year, depending on which buy down you go with, you're still not exceeding 4 or 5%, which is still way beating the mortgage interest rate right now that is out there for the general public. So high interest rates don't apply if you're going through a new construction or new builder lender. They also can afford to reduce the prices or offer these discounts, where a homeowner who's reselling their home isn't really in that position. They only have so much equity. Now, granted, they certainly, if they bought before 2020, they certainly have more equity than someone who's bought since 2020. But the point is, they don't have quite that flexibility. Sure, they can offer to pay the buyer's commission. Sure, they can offer to pay maybe 1% of closing costs, but builders are offering to pay all of your closing costs. And they're throwing in, I've even seen them throwing in pools up to $120,000 in designer credits or pools or upgrades and all of these things. They don't want to reduce the overall price of the home. Some will, but they're hesitant to reduce the overall price of the home. So instead, they're offering all these incentives to help bring down either your monthly costs or throw in a lot more for the home, which could be great for future equity. But the main reason they don't want to bring down the price of the home is because it will start hurting comps in the area, and then they won't even be able to finance the homes if it hurts the comps in the area. So just keep that in mind. But the whole point is they are not slowing down. I am still seeing builders that are scooping up land and they have plans to build out new communities or expand communities. They're still building, there's still lots available. So this is not slowing down anytime soon. So that is why I highly believe that this is putting a lot of pressure on these prices coming down. Now, the second reason are existing homes, or what we call resale homes, are having to compete with these new builders. And the biggest way that they are doing this is by reducing prices. That's like their biggest leverage that they have. Instead of offering some of these other perks that the builders are offering, really the best perk that resales can offer is a reduction in price. So that is why we're seeing all of these price drops. If the home is not immediately attractive based on either the finishes, the updates, or the price right away, then if it sits on the market longer than 30, 60, 90 days, they are going to want to bring that price down to make it competitive and more attractive against these newer build options. Now, when a buyer, which again, I work a lot with buyers, when they are comparing an older home to a new construction, we have to have a serious discussion about the condition of the older home. What are the updates? Are the storm codes up to date? Is the cost of insurance of that older home going to be an issue? Is the cost of upkeep going to be an issue? Even if it's been completely updated, you're looking at, unless it's got a brand new roof, brand new AC, brand new everything, which over here, you can get all that brand new in a new build. And a lot of times you'll have a lower monthly payment, you'll have lower carrying costs of that property, and you certainly don't have to worry about much while you're in the warranty period. So it's tough out here. And that is a huge pressure on bringing down these prices of these resale homes. So unless a seller has to sell, they may not be so inclined to drop the price, or they may just pull off the market because of the price competition that they're facing. So finally, and probably the least talked about reason, is what happened in 2020 to 2022, in that 2-year period. Prior to 2020, I would actually say that Sarasota was ever so slightly undervalued. Now, during 2020 and 2022, those prices more than doubled. Let that sink in. This is not sustainable. If you owned a home in 2020 and had bought it prior to 2020, and let's say it was worth $200,000, by the time 2022 came around, you were sitting on a $400,000, sometimes $450,000 property that people were actually paying for at that time. So that's a $200,000 to $250,000 equity right there. And that is just not sustainable. The local market, the locals who really are the strength and the feeders of keeping the housing economy going, they couldn't afford to double when they were coming from either renting or coming from out of state. So this is really critical to remember, because we truly, and I know this happened a lot throughout the country, But that just is not, I'm going to go back and say it's just not sustainable. We are starting to see the pendulum swing back to what I would think and feel is a healthier market. Now, up to this point, I've mostly been referring to single family residential, but condos are also having a crisis moment. I've gotten a lot of questions about whether condos are still worth buying. So here's my opinion. If a condo suits your lifestyle goal, then yes, absolutely. They are still a great option, with my only but being that you need to make sure that you're working with an agent on doing all of the research, all of the due diligence on the financials and the meeting notes. This is critical. This is where you're going to find out if there's anything hiding under the surface. Maybe the price is super attractive. That should be a red flag. Not that it's a bad thing. It may all be all kosher and fine, but you want to find out what's going on underneath the surface, deep down in the financials of the association and the condo maintenance and the community. Condos are some of the lowest maintenance options you can choose, but some communities have become a greater liability with poor management. On the other side of this, a well-run condo community can be a huge asset and protect your equity. So there are absolutely ways to know what you're buying before you decide. Now, if you're thinking about selling, yes, pricing right and marketing matters more than ever. The buyers are still out there, but they're not overpaying like they did in 2022. Homes that are priced strategically and presented beautifully and are well maintained and cared for if you want top dollar are still selling well, especially in desirable areas like Lakewood Ranch, Palmer Ranch, and closer to the downtown Sarasota area. Let me know in the comments, do you think that prices will keep falling to pre-2020 prices, or do you think we're settling into a new normal? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, leave any questions in the comments and make sure to subscribe, hit those notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you want to learn more about different communities or what life is actually like here in the Sarasota Lakewood Ranch area, then check out one of my other videos here. And until then, I will see you on the next video.